Hello everybody, welcome back to another episode of Common Sense Shop Works. I owe you an apology because I started working on a project yesterday, and I realized that since I couldn't find a video on it on YouTube, like anywhere, I searched every which way I could think of, that maybe it would be beneficial for me to put a video out about what I'm doing here. So in one of my earlier videos, I explained to you how I happened to look upon a great deal on Facebook where I bought a radial arm saw for $50. Now, I know some people are against radial arm saws and they think that I didn't get a deal whatsoever, but whatever. I wanted a radial arm saw and I thought $50 was a great deal. Well, the reason it was a great deal is what I'm fixing to show you now. So, this is the radial arm saw, and the problem I was having is that the carriage wasn't moving back and forth. And originally, I had thought, because this is a newer model that comes with a controlled feed motor that makes it so it doesn't have that, or isn't as prone to that climbing effect that most people dislike about radial arm saws. So initially I thought it was that motor. I came back here and I looked through here and there's really nothing wrong with this. And just so you know, this motor won't go in and out if there's no power to it. And then if the carriage lock is locked, you need to use that trigger to allow it to come forward. It doesn't come forward on its own. It just allows you to pull it at a certain speed so that it doesn't climb up on you. I realized that wasn't it, and so I started tearing things apart. And I took off this part of the casing, I took off the top, and I started to take off this side, the top casing, and realized that I don't need to. And it was going to be hard anyways because it's held in place by these two power cables here. And I thought these rubber boots would come off, but I'm not able to get them off without destroying it. So luckily I found out what was the culprit. So this carriage is held on, the entire weight of it is held on by 4 of these, not pulleys, but you know what I'm talking about. 2 here and 2 on the other side. And they were all locked up just tight as could be. And so what I did in the process of is I took these off, cleaned them all up, and I'm putting them back on. Part of that cleaning process is taking off the seals on the bearings so that you can access the bearings inside. Now, they don't come built to be able to do that easily, but there is a process. And when I get to the ones on the other side, I'll show you how I did that. Because what I did is I took apart the bearings, I cleaned and lubricated them, and also with the hardware that keeps them in place. These saws are so old that the grease that they put on these became more of a glue than a lubricant. And so that's what happened. The bearings weren't all rusty and rust locked. It's just the grease in there was just so hard that there was too much tension for them to be able to move freely. I'm going to go ahead and put the other bearing on, and then I'll show you what I mean when I get to the other ones. Alright. Okay, so here's the next part of, or at least the other side of the radial arm saw, where I'm going to go ahead and take these bearings off and try and clean them up and clean this area a little bit. It's kind of a fiddly thing, unless you're one of those people that have like double jointed fingers and everything. It takes a little bit of work. So on this the top head of this bolt is a 9/16, and the bottom is half. I feel like somebody might have changed those bolts on the other side. Could be wrong, but these are 1/2 inch. So on the other side, there are 9/16 on the top, the bolt head. And then the nuts, the retainer nuts, were 1/2 inch. So like I said, I'm going to get another 1/2 inch wrench and I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. I found another 1/2 inch. So let's get taking this off. So something I want to point out, and I got to bring it closer because you can't see it from there, but so you can see there that the weight of this carriage is being held by these bearings. So as you loosen this up, it puts pressure on these, and you have to unscrew this all the way out. And the tolerance is so tight in there, you can't get this off. This bolt won't come out until it's all the way off. And then you have to pull the bolt up through the top, up through there, in order to get this bearing out. So just want to let you guys know that. All right, I'm going to see if I can loosen this other one up here and see if that helps the situation at all. Get to that one. So I had to screw this thing most of the way out because of the tension on it with this leaning down on it, but once I got it up far enough, I was able to tap it out by using the screwdriver. Be careful now, there's also this little washer on the bottom right here. It gets stuck there because of the, like I told you, the grease ends up acting like a glue. So yeah, go ahead and make sure you get that off there too if you're going to go ahead and clean everything. Now, it's entirely up to you. You may or may not want to do that, but that's what I'm going to do. These came out harder than the other ones, so I know they're going to be a pain in the tuchus to put them back in. So I'm going to go put these over in the cleaner and reset the camera, and I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. Pardon the camera angle, but it's the best I could do to try and get you guys in here to see what I'm talking about. I've got the bearing assembly and the retaining washers. So what I have here is 3 things I wanted to try. I try to stay away from harsh solvents if I don't have to use them. So I really prefer Simple Green. I use it to clean my guns, and it works really well. In addition to that, I also have Purple Power degreaser. It's supposed to be an industrial degreaser, and then gasoline. So on the 2 that I did before, I had them sitting in the Simple Green. I had one of them sitting in the Simple Green for hours, and it didn't touch it. The other one was in Purple Power, and although the Purple Power cleaned up the outside grease, it didn't do anything to clean up in the little cracks and crevices. And like I said, it'd been sitting there for hours. So I took the one that wasn't touched at all by Simple Green, and I put it in a little bit of gasoline. Half an hour later, it was good as new. All the grease had been dissolved, and I swished it around a little bit to make sure that, you know, get a little washing machine action in there and get the gas to flow in all the little crevices and voids and all that. But that worked much better. I know that there are other things out there in the market that you can buy, and it's probably works just as well. I've seen people use brake cleaner, but to me that's an awful lot of money because you end up spraying like half a can in there to get the grease to all break loose. And I already had this. This is what, 50 cents worth of gasoline. That's all right, I'll take that. And then I can put it in my used oil to either use for a heating element of some type, or just take it to the oil waste dump. So, but I still do use a simple green for things like the washers and the bolts and everything. And there's a washer on that side as well. So I'll go ahead and leave these in here with that. And these other two bearings, seal bearings, I have to take this cover out first. So what I do is I have, you can see that, I have a sharp pick. And then I have a really small flathead screwdriver. And what I will do is I will get in here towards the center as far as I can. Pry that up just a little bit where I can get the screwdriver underneath there. Yep. Get that screwdriver. Pry comes right out of there. Like I said, that grease, I don't know if you can see it. That grease is like glue. See it there? See if I can shine this for you. See how nasty that is? I can't even use my finger and turn any of them. So I'm going to take off the seal on the other side, and I'll put these in the gas, and we'll come back in a little while and see if how well it worked. Okay, so I've got these soaking in the gas. I've got all the bolts and washers in the simple green. It is 1:52. I'll come back probably half an hour. I've got some other things to do while this is soaking, so I'll come back half an hour. I'll show you what time it is, and then we'll see if we can get this cleaned up. All right, so it's been an hour. Let's take a look at what we got. All right, so there's one. Let me put a light on this so we can see it better. Wrong light. All right, so there's one side. And you can see it's mostly clean. This side is not so great, but I'm going to see if that will just wipe off. See if it's broken free yet. Okay, so it has broken free. You can see that. So that's good. That tells me that there's hope for the other one as well. Here's the other one. It's free, but not quite as good as the other one. Let me try something real quick. Just really quick. I remember when I was a kid, I used to love the smell of gas, and now I'm like, nah, not so much. Oh yeah, that's a lot better. See? It's one side, and there's the other. So we just flushed a lot of the gunk out of there. Just more gunk. All right, I'm gonna blow it out with some air. I don't want to leave gas residue in there, and then we'll lubricate it. Be right back. Okay, so when I dried it out, this one no longer had the lubrication of the wet gas in there. So what I'm doing is I'm just taking my little pick and I'm going through and I'm separating these balls because they still have a little bit of that grease residue on them, making it still act like a glue. I guess I could put this into gasoline for a little bit longer, but I'm not sure I need that. This isn't a high stress bearing. It's not going to be traveling at 2,500, 3,000 revolutions a minute or anything like that. It's going to go back and forth at a slow speed relatively, 20 times a week maybe. So I don't think I need to do that. So I'm just going to lubricate that one. Now this one goes good. I'm not going to have a problem with that. This one is going to give me a hard time, I can tell. You know what? I'm going to rinse it just one more time. It spins good that way when it's still wet. The trick is when it gets dried out. Alright, so again, I'm going to go blow it out with some air. I'll be right back. Okay, so that seemed to do the trick. It's freewheeling. Now it's not as freewheeling as this, but it's good enough. So I'm just gonna lubricate it and we're gonna call it good. Now, you don't want to use. First of all, you don't want to use WD-40. Okay, not for a permanent basis. It's not meant as a permanent lubrication. It's wet, and so if it stayed wet with the sawdust and everything, that would become mud. Now granted, it's a sealed bearing, but either way, it doesn't stay wet. So what you want is a dry lubricant. So I got Blaster white lithium grease. This is not a sponsor. I bought this myself months ago, if not a year, and it's just something I use. I don't have a problem with it though, so I'll just spray some on here, both sides. Okay, now that spins a lot better. So it's in all the bearings. Do the same thing on this one. I don't have a problem using extra grease. It's going to be used sometime anyways, right? Let's get our seals out of here. Now, these seals are rubber or some type of soft plastic, and that's going to degrade with gasoline, so that's why I haven't used gasoline to clean these. Now, these still have gunk on them. It's been softened by the Simple Green, so I'm just going to clean this stuff off. That stuff is some nasty stuff, let me tell you. Let's see if that purple degreaser will do anything. So the moral of the story, ladies and gentlemen, is that Simple Green might be good enough for light grime, but it's not going to touch this hard stuff. Don't get me wrong, I like Simple Green because it's not harmful to the environment. It's not meant for heavy duty work. Maybe good enough to clean your house with. That's better. It's still, as you can see, it's still sticky. I don't like that. What do you guys think? Think if we put this in the gas just for a few minutes, it'd be all right? I think that's what I'm gonna do. And if it doesn't work and the seals degrade, then I'll just buy new bearings, right? Just that couple seconds did a lot better job than Simple Green. It's still a little sticky, but trust me, being on this side of the camera, trust me, it's not as bad. I'm looking at it and I don't see very much gunk. Put that in the degreaser to get rid of any gas residue. I think that might help a little bit. I make sure I put my cap back on because just yesterday I wasn't paying attention and spilled over, and I spilled the whole thing of gas all over that corner of my bench. So Once you're done with that, just set it back down in here, press it down in there. Just keep working around, it'll snap in there eventually. All right, good as new. I'll do that with the other one and we'll get putting these on. Hey guys, real quick, I just wanted to, in case, I don't know if the video's out there or not, but I wasn't able to find anything. So I want to just give you a quick rundown on how this goes back together. So you've got your bolt with your big washer. I lubricated it. Then you have your bearing. Now if you look, the bearing has one side that's slightly raised as opposed to the other one. That bearing, or that raised part, goes towards what's going to be the bottom of the bolt. So it's going to be facing down like this, and that raised part is going to be down here. Okay? Then you have your little washer, and that goes there. This is going to go sit on top of that carriage, and these retaining washers are going to be on the bottom of the carriage, between the carriage and the nuts. I'll show you that when we get there. All right, so let me reposition the camera and I'll be right back. All right, so let's try and get these assemblies in here. So remember I said you got to put that bolt up in there. So you also have to make sure that this bearing is on this rail, because it's not gonna fit down over it otherwise. Remember what I said about fiddly fingers? Let me try and get this other one. That way I can lift up the whole carriage and see if it will line up a little bit better. Okay, I'm back for just a quick second. I cannot get those bolts in there. Even I went over and loosened up the ones on the other side, but it's such a tight tolerance that I can't get the ones on this side with the carriage like that. So this bar right here that it rides on, it's got 2 Phillips head screws right here. I'm going to take those out, take the bar out, start these 2 assemblies, and feed the bar back through them and see if I can do it that way. So again, I'm going to do that off camera. I'll be right back. Okay, so I got the bolt started after I took the rail out. It didn't magically make it easier. So here we go. Be back in a little while. Okay, so I finagled my blockers so that I could keep the back end angled up, more level. Now I'm able to all that hammering, I didn't lose my screws. Well, I do have a couple screws loose, but not these. Okay, so the rail is back in place. I'm just going to tighten up these carriage bearings. And I'll be right back when we put the chassis back together. As we put the chassis back together. All right, stand by. That done. It's a living, breathing Frankenstein now. All I have to do is put it back together. One started, the rest are nope, I'm not jinxing myself. Not gonna do it. You're going to have a machine and it's new to you, and you're going to be here anyways. Why don't you just take a minute and clean it? Yeah, make it as new as you can make it. There's nothing wrong with that, right? carriage lock, carriage unlock. Ladies and gentlemen, it would not even budge before. You can plug it in, try it out. Okay, so that's it for what I wanted to show you with this project, guys. The feed control motor is not retracting, so, but that's outside the scope of this video. I'll figure out what's going on or disconnect it, whichever. If that becomes a project, I'll clue you guys in. So I hope you enjoyed it. Hope you got something out of it. If you do, if you like, subscribe, share, all that stuff. And if you hit that notification button, nope, this one over here. If you hit that notification button, you'll know whenever I come out with the video. Like I said, I'm not one of those professional YouTubers. I'm not going to come out with one every 3 days or every week or anything like that. But I do projects, and I've got lots of things to do. So whenever I do, I'll be glad to make a video, and hopefully you get something from it. So thank you for everything. God bless.